I'm the eldest boy! I am the eldest boy!
The finale of Succession is finally upon us, marking the end of one of the greatest television shows in history. We here at Raw Color are equally shocked and satisfied with the explosive yet inevitable conclusion. We're going to be discussing the biggest winners and losers from the show and our overall thoughts. From this point on, this will be a spoiler-heavy analysis, so if you haven't watched the show yet, fuck off!
Hey, Lauren, my guy, what's up?
I went into the wines aisle, and they were out of champagne. I got Martinelli's.
You're saying you got Martinelli's?
Give me the phone. No, let me talk. Hey there, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's like champagne, yeah?
Yeah, Martinelli's. Well, you know, that'd be fucking great, Lauren, if we were throwing a kids' party.
Come on, man. It's okay. Hey, all right, it's fine. Just it's gonna start soon, bro. You just bring it. Come on, let's go.
Fucking damn it.
Tom Wambsgans, the man destined to wear the crown. Talk about why and how that happened. First, we have to understand that Succession is a tragedy, which means that none of these characters are going to get what they want. And even if they do, it won't be exactly how they want it. Taking it back to the very beginning, the man who started it all, Logan Roy. From the outset, two things became very clear about Logan. One, his inability to choose a successor, and two, his reluctance to have any of his children inherit his empire. Even until his final days, Logan remained stubborn, determined to have his desires met, even in death.
The great tragedy of Roman Roy is how he was never taken seriously, never allowed to grow up by his family or his peers, never allowing himself to become the man he believed he was supposed to be. Roman never wanted to be CEO. He wanted to want to be CEO. The journey he took over the course of 4 seasons leads us to nothing but pity. All of his trials and tribulations, his pain and suffering were done in vain. And despite all of this, Roman might be the sibling with the least tragic ending. Two things are always certain with Connor Roy. He doesn't want to get involved, and he was interested in politics from a young age. Connor ends the show completely uninvolved in the family business and with billions of dollars in his bank account. Exactly where he intended to be.
Moving up the tragedy scale, we have Siobhan Roy. Shiv started out completely uninvolved in the business world, crafting a strong identity independent of the company. Shiv stood out from her siblings and peers as she was the one woman in a room full of male competitors time and time again. This was something which she touched on in her speech at Logan's funeral, where she says, quote, "Logan could never fit a whole woman in his head." She struggled her entire life to not be seen as just another one of Logan's women. This desire to be seen as a fit and noble Roy with leadership capabilities is what ultimately sparked her to join the fight for the crown. Yet despite her drive, she is consistently betrayed by the men in her life, by her father, by her brothers, and perhaps the most painful of them all, her husband. Before Shiv casts the deciding vote, she realizes that she is trapped. She realizes that there is no way she could win, and she is forced to acknowledge the stark reality that she has been denying since the betrayal inflicted by Madsen. She is truly alone. The only person guaranteed to be with her was her unborn child. She pulled out from backing her brother, not only because she didn't think he would be good in the role, but because she had to think of what sort of world she would want to bring her child into. In this final fuck you to Kendall, she votes for the Gojo acquisition and joins Tom in the car. A sense of melancholy hangs over the two as she takes his hand in their shared final moments of screen time.
Tom's arc, in a sense, is the opposite of Shiv's. He starts out as the bumbling boyfriend of a Roy who gradually kisses ass all the way to the top. After seasons of being belittled and lied to by his wife, he's finally in the superior position.
It's his proclivity for kissing ass which is why he has succeeded. It's clear that Logan was in his position because of how much of a stone-cold killer he was. In the business sense, of course. But as we have seen in the internet age, the type of man that Logan was simply does not succeed anymore in the traditional sense. Tom seems to recognize this, as he is consciously avoiding the mistakes of the siblings and insisting on, as Shiv said, suck the biggest dick in the room. However, there is one trait that Logan passed on to Tom. Tom learned how to pick the right ass to kiss and how to stick with it. Every time we see Tom fail, is when he hasn't decided upon who to suck up to. But, as we saw in Season 3 with Logan, and Season 4 with Madsen, Tom finds the right lap to sit on and stays. And now to the biggest loser, Kendall, Logan, Roy. Now, as we were previously talking about with Tom, the type of man that Logan was could no longer succeed the same way they did in his day and age. This was Kendall's greatest mistake. He was trying to be too much like his father. We see Kendall thriving every time he decides to stand on his own, predominantly in Season 3 when he takes notice of the changing cultural and media landscape around him and adapts an entirely new, woke, public persona to match it. When Kendall tries to be Logan is when he fails. He has built his whole world around becoming his father. He shoots for the CEO spot. He becomes a ruthless business killer, willing to screw over his own family by the end. He has become everything his father told him he needed to become. Yet despite all of this, he failed. He crashed and burned in typical Kendall fashion, and now has less than he started with. He is no longer involved in the company, and he can never hope to get another shot. What does Kendall live for now? For everyone else, it's obvious. Shiv will live for her child. Roman will live for his new half-brained interest, whatever that may be. But Kendall is truly left without a purpose. And that's what makes him the biggest tragedy of Succession.